For the grand opening of KBLA.store, for the best in new merch, gift ideas, books, media, and more, log on to KBLA.store. Be sure to check out our KBLA team favorites at KBLA.store today. That's KBLA.store for all the official merch on your favorite talk radio station, KBLA Talk 1580.
The bounce is back.
Still Snoop Dogg and D.I.
Guess who's back?
Still doing that shit, Andre?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Check me out. It's still Dre Day, AK. Though I've grown a lot, can't keep it home a lot. Cause when I frequent the spots that I'm known to rock, you hear the bass from the truck when I'm on the block. Ladies, they pay homage, but haters say Dre fell off.
I love this song.
My last album was
Dre
The
and
Chronic.
Snoop together.
They wanna know
Listen.
if he still got it. They say raps change. They wanna know how I
feel about it.
Dr. Dre is the name, I'm ahead of my game. Still puffing my leaf, still.
We're vibing a little bit. West Coast, hour 3, the after hours. This is the time when we get a little looser. Not much, but a little looser. You know, we get into some topics that are maybe a little more controversial. Not really, because we pretty much keep it honest here. We keep it authentic. We keep it real. But there are some topics that might be a little salacious. So we'll get into those in a second. Thank you for rocking out with RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. As I mentioned, we are in hour 3. And wow, this has gone by so fast. The topics are buzzing. You guys are buzzing in the chat. Like, I can't even keep up. You are keeping it so lit in there tonight. I'm enjoying the conversation. So you guys keep going. And of course, you're welcome to call in 800-920-1580. Make sure that you are following us on the socials. KBLA 1580. I'm at Stiletto Jill. Holla at your girl. I see you guys sending me those messages, those to-be recommendations, sharing good thoughts. I appreciate it. Continue to do so. We love that. Like we said, if you're in the chat, hit that like button. Send it to a friend so they can check it out tomorrow. We can get into all of that. Now, I've been talking about Snoop a lot, so let's continue on our Snoop Dogg train. So I mentioned that Snoop Dogg has discussed recently why he feels he's never been invited to the Roc Nation Brunch. Snoop says that, listen, he really, really, really thinks that Jay-Z is a fear, and it pertains to him. He said that Jay is concerned because Snoop's going to come in there and be dressed better than everybody else. Snoop said he was going to turn it out. And that is why he hasn't gotten an invite from Jay-Z. I don't know about that, but it is kind of interesting, as long as the brunch has been in its existence, that Snoop hasn't made its way through. I mean, obviously, they're both in the Los Angeles area, and two hip-hop icons. Again, we've used that word a lot, but the ones that we have utilized it with this evening, it's highly appropriate, right? And you think about the longevity that we're talking about in these careers. When you really sit and think about it, Snoop's first, I'll say the single with Dr. Dre off the Deep Cover soundtrack, right? That was what, 91, 92? We're almost to 2024, and Snoop Dogg is not only still here, still relevant. I think that is something that deserves a shout out, no matter how you feel about some of Snoopy's activities. I should say that Snoop said that he was joking about that. He just said that they just haven't come together, just hasn't worked out. But he said that when he does show up, and this was on an episode of the Fellas podcast, which is hosted by HaHa Davis and Blackberry, Snoop said he's the sharpest one out, and they know that when he walks in the room, he's going to turn everything out. It's all love between him and Jay, and that, when he does go, he said he thinks he's going to rock some linen. So, linen in February, Snoop, go ahead. I mean, I don't know. We know the hair will be laid. I kind of miss Shirley Temple curl Snoop every now and again. Like, dread, okay. Andy, I saw this on Instagram, so I got to ask this. It was kind of funny. It was a white woman asking a black man and a black woman about which is appropriate. And it's come up a lot. So I want to ask. She wanted to know, and I am asking based off, I don't think that Snoop has just braids. They're dreads. Do you prefer dreads or locks? What is your commentary on that? Because I know some people are sensitive and they don't appreciate one being used over the other.
It don't matter to me.
Okay. Okay.
But I do refer to mine as locks.
Okay, so locks. So that's what we're going to rock with. So Snoop was like, locks and linen. That's what he's going to be on, doing his thing. So we appreciate that. I should say it is, like I said, a little joke, but we all know sometimes some jokes have a little bit of seriousness in it. I don't know. I just think that it's interesting as long as that's been going on that he hasn't rolled through. Snoop is also really busy. We mentioned his Brodus Foods company, which is distributed through Master P. It also donates a portion of those profits to Door of Hope, which is a charity organization. So Snoop isn't just collecting the dollars. He's giving back and making an impact in the community always, sometimes even in ways that we may not even be aware of. Outside of that, he is working on his definitive biopic. I'm sure that this strike has put a kind of pin in the development, but he is working diligently. It's going to be directed by Alan Hughes. We just saw Alan's work with the Dear Mama Tupac docuseries that was on FX. And obviously we know he did Menace to Society. Well, he and his brother, Menace to Society, Dead Presidents, etc., etc. So they are working on the biopic for Snoop's life. It's in development with Universal Pictures. I want to know who they're going to get to play Snoop. I mean, obviously, had Nip not passed, I don't know what his acting prowess was, but that would have been the natural role. I can tell you, even in Straight Outta Compton, I was not happy with Lakeith Stanfield's casting. I didn't know who he was then. I like Lakeith as an as an actor. I like his work, but I did not enjoy him as Snoop in Straight Outta Compton. Nothing embodied Snoop to me other than his frame. So I'm going to be very concerned about who they find to fill those shoes, because they have to have the right amount of charisma, that kind of almost shyness, soft-spokenness, but that edge. I mean, and they have to go through that journey of young, late teens, early 20s Snoop coming straight out of LBC until going through the actual murder was the case, the murder trial, and all the things, the transition from death row to over there with No Limit, and just everything that Snoop's been through. His trajectory is crazy. So, I mean, it's going to be kind of hard because you can't really have an established actor step in. I mean, you could, but Snoop's such a big personality, and depending upon who the actor is, it's going to be really important that they'll be able to transform and take on that role and dive deep into it. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen with that. I'm looking forward to that. When we come forward, we're going to discuss Apple is coming out with their own AI version that is going to be accessible through your iPhone. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about how many new subscribers Netflix has added since they've cracked down on password sharing recently. We're also going to talk about the NBA player that shared the story of how he dropped $36,000 before he was even drafted, before he even got a check. We're going to get into that. All that and more. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580 RSVP with Jill Munroe.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
In our community, mental health struggles can sometimes go unnoticed. The suicide rate among Black youth has risen faster than any other ethnic group. Only 1 in 3 African Americans who need mental health care receives it. African American women are only half as likely as their Caucasian counterparts to seek professional mental health services. Even those who guide us spiritually can sometimes face their own challenges. 45% of pastors say they've experienced depression or burnout to the extent they need to take a leave of absence from ministry. As people of faith, it's time to acknowledge it's okay not to be okay. You can pray and get help. Visit normalizehelp.org for more information and resources. Join us in raising mental health awareness in our community. Funded by the Los Angeles County Department of Mental Health and the Champion Counseling Center of Faithful Central Bible Church.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California and around the country to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. As part of JP Morgan Chase commitment, they are taking action to help improve financial wealth and access to banking in the Black community, helping more people open low-cost checking and savings accounts, hosting community seminars with supporting Black-led institutions by building awareness about financial investments, hiring community managers, and opening community center branches like Crenshaw, Inglewood, and downtown LA. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Get the tools to help reach your financial goals. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for voting rights. When We All Vote is a leading national nonpartisan initiative on a mission to change the culture around voting and to increase participation in each and every election by helping to close the race and age gap. Created by Michelle Obama, When We All Vote brings together individuals, institutions, brands, and organizations to register new voters across the country and advance civic education for the entire family and voters of every age to build an informed and engaged electorate for today and generations to come. When We All Vote empowers their supporters and volunteers to take action through voting, advocating for their rights, and holding their elected officials accountable. Please visit whenweallvote.org to stand up for your rights, voting rights. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey VIPs, you are checking out RSVP with Jill Munroe right here live on KBLA Talk 1580. So before I touch on some of those trending topics that I just mentioned, I have to share something with you. You know, we have been very concerned about Jamie Foxx. We talked about the sightings that have been going around, and you know, some people thought that it might be promotion for his movie that's coming out. They cloned Tyrone, that maybe it was a clone Tyrone situation walking around with Jamie. We don't know. But what I do know is that Jamie posted a photo of himself to his Twitter today. So it was 8 hours ago. Let me get the exact time for you that he posted this. It was at 2:55 p.m. And it's him on a what looks to be race car. It says Bet MGM, and it says, thankful for my Bet MGM family and a few great nights in Vegas. We got big things coming soon. So I guess Jamie has moved the party from Chicago to Vegas, and he had a time out there. So Bet MGM is a betting app, and they also, I guess, have some type of, what are those called? I can't remember what the things are called. Sportsbook. That's what it's called in Vegas. And I guess maybe Jamie was spending some time there. He's an endorser of the brand. I don't know. Looks like that this was a shoot done prior to, but we'll never know. You know, shout out to Jamie. We love you, Jamie. We hope that you are amazing, and we look forward to you sharing more of your grace with us for real. I mean, we know that you have They Clone Tyrone coming out tomorrow. We'll talk about that a little bit in a second. But before we get into that, are you a fan of the reality show Love Island? It's a UK series, and, you know, they bring together single hot guys and girls, put them together. Well, there's some drama happening surrounding the production side of that show. The producers of this show have been hit with a lawsuit for racial discrimination, emotional sabotage, and wrongfully watching contestants during intimate moments. So, you know the setup. People are going to an island. There's a house. You know, people have rooms. There's cameras all throughout. We've been looking at this same setup for a long, long time. But reportedly, 2 producers were terminated shortly after expressing concerns about the alarming practices. According to Radar Online, Jasmine Cresswell and Alex Rinks have filed a lawsuit alleging that there was race and gender discrimination, retaliation, failure to prevent discrimination, harassment, more retaliation, whistleblower retaliation, and wrongful termination. So they're saying basically it wasn't hot. There was a lot going on there. In the court documents, they allege that the UK producers brought them on to help increase the ratings of the U.S. spinoff, but that they broke protocol by watching and openly discussing women's bodies during their shower scenes and other intimate moments. They said they openly commented on video feeds of female islanders showering, having sex, creating a deep, uncomfortable work environment. They also said the entire villa was equipped with cameras and islanders were filmed 24 hours a day, no matter what they were doing, including showering. They said producers had access to the video feed, and while producers were instructed not to watch the footage, certain producers disregarded the information and not only watched the intimate footage, but discussed it openly on set, including making comments about the contestants' bodies. For instance, they alleged that one producer watched streams of nude female contestants and directed a female producer to look at her breasts and commented that the cast member's boob job made her boobs look hard. Executive producers also pressured the female islanders to engage in sexual relationships without their regard for their personal preferences or genuine consent. So those are some pretty strong allegations. The plaintiffs also allege that the producers have a long history of racism and abusive practices. So we will keep our eye on this, on how it turns out. They also said that there was a black female contestant, Serenity Springs, who was singled out and constantly referred to as dumb, the B word, and disgusting. They also alleged that producers even interfered with her chances of finding a mate. Basically, contestants can be kicked off the show if they're unable to find a match, you know? So they are alleging that producers interfered with this contestant and her ability to succeed on the show just because she was black. They said that they took a lot of steps to prevent her from making these connections, and that they even instructed all producers on an internal walkie system, don't let her talk to any men. That night, they were sent a list of couples who had spoken on day one, and they informed them the following day of the choices, and she was the only islander not on the list. So we'll have to check out what's going on with that. We'll keep an eye on that, but reality show producers are people too, and people sometimes come with biases. So I hope that's not true, that they were just taking advantage, watching the women walk around. That's pretty disgusting. I mean, you know, but you think about how we're always on camera now. So listen, you never know what's going on. Leslie Holmes in the chat says, sending blessings and prayers to Mr. Jamie Foxx for his complete healing. We love you. Leslie also mentioned that Nipsey Hussle would have been a great idea to play Snoop. He said, rest in peace. Terry says, Jay-Z has more female friends than men, and that his male friends are on the level of Diddy, Dr. Dre, Kanye. You mentioned Oprah. She's not a male, but I get your point. Tyler Perry, Steve Harvey, and billionaire white businessmen or women. What I ask you, Terry, is what about that list that you don't think that Snoop deserves a place in there? I mean, quietly, we just listed off a few of Snoop's businesses. He has a breakfast food company. He has a cannabis brand. He has a studio space. I mean, there's all types of things buzzing. I think that Snoop is somebody that deserves to get an invite. You know, we'll see what happens next year during the Grammys, if there's a ceremony next year, just based off of the strike stuff. But that's a conversation for another day. We're not going to worry about that today. Snoop said he was just joking. It's all love between them, so we'll see. So I mentioned that Apple has officially entered the AI race. They don't want to get left behind. They see what Google's doing, Microsoft, everybody's out there working on their AI software, trying to get it in. So they have a product that they're going to call Apple GPT. its proprietary Apple AI language model, and it's a strategic move to expand Apple's technological footprint. And we all know they have continued to do that as they creep and lean and infiltrate every portion of our lives. I mean, I'm an Apple addict. I know people say Android is better. They usually get things first, but their operating system doesn't work with my things too well, so I got to keep it all the same. Anyway, so they are trying to figure out exactly how they want to unroll this to customers and consumers and exactly how it'll be utilized. They know that they want to enhance some of Apple's services, including Siri and content creation tools. So it means that plan to see more and more discussion around AI and pay attention to those updates on your phone because you never know what's happening. So I mentioned Netflix. I don't know if you have a Netflix subscription, but you may have noticed that they have been cracking down on the passwords. So funny for a company that a few years ago made a joke out of sharing passwords and that it was cool. Well, now they've shut all of that down. Like, I even have a situation where my Netflix is not working in my house because I have two different, like, internet lines. So it thinks that I'm in two different places. Trying to figure out how to fix that now, but it's a thing. Well, guess what? In quarter 2, because of that crackdown, Netflix added nearly 6 million new subscribers to their fan base. They just released their 2023 quarterly earnings on Wednesday, and they revealed that paid subscribers had increased 5.89 million in the quarter that ended June 30th. So they are saying that the streamer gained about close to 2 million more new subscribers and not just people that were just basically establishing their own account. So the money grab worked. My question to you is, when you start thinking about which streamer you're going to cut, is it based on funds or is it based on what type of programming they have at the moment? For example, like, will you cut a streamer and then shoot back around when your favorite series comes back on it or give them a try? How does that work for you? Let me know. Drop it in the chat. Send me a text, a DM. Not a text, a DM. That's what I meant. No texting. But we understand. Anyway, shout out to Netflix. They have some great things coming on tomorrow night. So we might as well talk about that right now. So in what to watch tomorrow night, over the weekend, really, They Clone Tyrone drops on Netflix. I mentioned that Jamie Foxx is in this, also John Boyega and Tiana Paris. So this one is a mashup kind of sci-fi humor, like a mystery, and it definitely has a homage to the 70s black exploitation flicks. So basically, they're a trio of friends who find themselves on the trail of an eerie government conspiracy. So the rest of the details are kind of on lockdown, but like I said, it's almost midnight here on the West Coast. You can check that out then. Also, there's a new docu-series on Netflix that's about football. It's called Quarterback. So it follows some of your favorite quarterbacks as they get themselves together for the season, throughout the season, their perspectives, their POV. It's an introspective deep dive. It's a docu-series, so you should try and check that out. Yes, a lot of these seem to have a sports theme, but that's okay. On Monday, it's an HBO series dropping on Max. NFL Gridiron, The Golden Boy is making its debut. This is surrounding Oscar de la Hoya. I have seen a portion of the pilot episode, I believe, for this. It's pretty interesting, something you might want to check out, especially if you're a boxing fan and you want a little bit of insight into him and some of his activities. And, of course, this debuted a few weeks ago, but still go check it out on Apple TV Plus. Swagger, if you're into hoops, if you have a passion around AAU hoops, check in with that. It is an entertaining series. O'Shea Jackson Jr., that's Ice Cube's son, is featured in it. So, if you have time, go have a look. We are forward. We still got a little bit of time, so I can roll into another story. So listen, we haven't heard much about Kanye West lately, right? Kanye's been chilling. We haven't seen any outbursts. Somebody took his phone. They locked his Twitter and Instagram down. We're good. Well, Adidas is saying that Kanye West mishandled $75 million of the funds that was supposed to be used for marketing the Yeezy collection. They have a large legal battle that has been brewing because of their failed partnership. Adidas is now asking Kanye West to return $75 million worth of marketing funds, per Bloomberg. They said that he spent about $50 million of the marketing money on his gospel choir and touring them around the country. Adidas is also alleging that Kanye consistently mishandled funds throughout their relationship. So, let's see. They said that the marketing fund that they assigned him was worth $100 million per year. So they're alleging that 3/4 of that he blew. They said that he was paid into 2 Yeezy bank accounts, but Ye and the companies mishandled virtually all of the funds, failed to keep it separate, and were spending on several unauthorized purchases. So I don't know. The Yeezy debate rages on. We know that Adidas recently made plans to drop some of the Yeezys. I don't know if it's still going to work. Are we past that? Have we moved on? Are we into other sneakers now? I know a lot of people said Yeezys were incredibly comfortable. Adidas is trying to get back that money that they lost by pulling them off the shelves. So they're going to figure this out one way or another. They are not playing games with Ye, but I want to know, do you feel like Kanye mishandled? Well, we don't know technically. We won't know the actual details. But I feel like Ye always pushed Yeezy. I feel like they got their money's worth. And had they have put them out, we understand why they didn't. They probably could have recouped that money and they probably wouldn't even be worried about that. Coming up, we have Barack Obama's summer playlist. Every summer Barack drops his playlist. And of course, there's a lot of commentary about it. And he, as always, has some interesting selections that made the list. But before we get into all of that, I mentioned there's an NBA player that shared a story about dropping $36,000 before he even got into the league, the night before. There is a podcast featuring Channing Frye. He used to play for, I think, Channing played for Phoenix maybe for a minute. I know he was an Arizona Wildcat. He went to school with Richard Jefferson. They were teammates there and good friends. So recently on their podcast, Road Trippin', they discussed how they had the party of all parties in 2005 before they were drafted. They flew out 20 or 30 of their friends to hit the town in New York and hit all the clubs up. The former number 8 pick said some of the guys that were included in the party were Gilbert Arenas, Luke Walton, also Arizona Wildcats, some Knicks and Nets players, they said David Lee had an issue. He was drafted by the Knicks. He's a white guy. Because they were rolling so deep, so there were problems. So Channing basically said that Richard punked him into spending that amount. Well, money gone. You were checking out RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Come forward with us.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
I'm Esther Dillard, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The record-long heat wave shows no signs of letting up in the U.S. Over 2,000 heat records have been broken across the southern U.S. from California to Florida since the first heat advisories were posted in early June. Forecasters warned the heat dome is expanding in Texas and in the Southwest, and triple digits could drag well into next week and beyond. The New Orleans City Council says Black Mayor LaToya Cantrell's office violated state law regarding political flyers sent out earlier this year. According to Council President J.P. Morrell, the mayor's office bought and distributed the flyers with city funds, but never revealed the cost. And a single winning ticket in the billion-dollar Powerball lottery has been sold in California. If you didn't win, about $720 million will be up for grabs in the Mega Millions drawing this Friday night. I'm Esther Dillard from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
If you're a late night snacker, listen up. Buffalo Wild Wings created a menu of late night food and drinks starting at $4, 10 till close, full of tasty apps and ice cold beer to wash it all down. Limited time at participating locations. Offers, days, and times may vary. Drink responsibly. Void where prohibited. Tax and fees extra.
Gotta stay fresh, ma. House shot with a rest bar.
Have you visited us online for the grand opening of KBLA.store? For the best in new merch, gift ideas, books, media, and more, log on to KBLA.store. Be sure to check out our KBLA team favorites at KBLA.store today. That's KBLA.store for all the official merch on your favorite talk radio station, KBLA Talk 1580. What's up, LA? The Reparationist community got something real special going down in historic Leimert Park. August 12th, 2023. This event is sponsored by Reparations United and Black Pact, fighting for justice and empowering our community. Together, we can make moves. We have an insane lineup for y'all. The sultry Rotimi, the king of LA, The Game, smooth Eric Benet, and none other than the powerful sounds of blackness. Also, we have some special guests in the house. Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, State Senator Stephen Bradford, LA's beloved Councilwoman Heather Hutt, and many more. They're bringing their passion and leadership to the stage. Mark your calendars, August 12th, 2023, Leimert Park. Let's come together, support each other, and make a difference. Peace, love, and reparations benefit concert and unity rally. Be there or be left out. Produced by Tara Perry of Black Pact and Cam Howard of Reparations United.
The Los Angeles Urban League helps African American and others in underserved communities achieve true social parity, economic self-reliance, and civil rights. For over 100 years, Los Angeles Urban League has ensured our communities have access to careers with living wages, opportunities to start and grow businesses, and clear pathways to personal and professional growth. Programs like BizCamp, Construction Career Academy, Bob Business Ready, and B-Warp. The Black Wealth Attainment and Retention Program are examples of the ongoing events designed to make our centennial mission to rebuild Black Wall Street right here in LA a reality. To sign up for our newsletter or to support the Los Angeles Urban League with your time, talent, and donations, visit laul.org. That's laul.org. The Los Angeles Urban League is a proud sponsor of Urban Family Focus Saturdays at 7 a.m. on KBLA Talk 1580.
Have you heard about Lendistry? Lendistry is a national Black-led small business lender that is headquartered right here in LA. Once you've started your business, Lendistry provides flexible financing options starting at $50,000 to help you access the affordable capital needed to grow. Visit lendistry.com/KBLA to learn more.
Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win. Sometimes we try to fit it all in. Sometimes we don't know what's in store. Sometimes we find what we're looking for. Sometimes we're rolling easy and free. Sometimes 1 and 1 makes 3. So much to love along this ride. That's why Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and Affiliates, Columbus, Ohio.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action is the youth component of the impactful CBO, known as the Community Coalition. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action has chapters at almost every South LA high school. Say Yeah, as they are popularly known, is located at 80th and Vermont, but serves young people all over South LA. Under the COCO umbrella, they train youth organizers, help underserved scholars prepare for college, and work with students to help them gain admission to top universities. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action fosters teen activism, where young people have led campaigns moving tens of millions of dollars to South LA schools and forcing officials to make AP classes available to students in under-resourced institutions. SCEL scholars have taken part in the March on Washington, been published in major news outlets, and been elected to city council. Long before she was mayor, Karen Bass started the program when she founded the Community Coalition. To donate, volunteer, or enroll a student in South Central Youth Empowered Through Action, please visit cocsouthla.org. cocsouthla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Baby, wake up.
Hi. Chase Davis on the beat, yeah. Put that on. Put that on. Put that on. Put that on. Put that on.
I'm mad that I knew what this was. I'm mad that I was like, okay, is this really happening? Is Andy really breaking out Antonio Brown bars? You are checking out RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. You are definitely in the VIP section now. You are behind the velvet ropes because we're about to get into some things. Your boy Antonio Brown is a wild one. Always has been. Does the most. Was mad talented on the football field, but you know, there were some things going on there. A lot of things, a lot of public things, a lot of things that were let off on the internet, on the social medias that perhaps shouldn't have been, right? Well, he's continuing that tradition. So I don't know if you've heard of a guy named Adam22. He has a podcast called No Jumper. It can be controversial. They talk to a lot of rappers, a lot of people in hip-hop, do a lot of things. Adam's a white guy, by the way, just setting you up because there's a lot to this story. So Adam is married. His wife is known as Lena the Plug. And the two of them have been in headlines as of late because Lena recently shot a scene with an adult film star, right? And Adam watched and produced it, and that's their business. They did it for the internet. They obviously made a lot of money, you know, on OnlyFans from it. That's why they did it. There's been a lot of back and forth about that situation. However, young Antonio Brown, he tweeted to Adam22, hey, yo, let me get next. I think that is so outlandish and bold, no matter what the circumstances were. I mean, I understand that she's a porn star. The guy that she did the scene with is like someone named Jason Love. And it is the first time that she has done a scene with another man since she and Adam started dating 7 years ago. They put it on OnlyFans. They got married in May. This scene happened after that. Again, they made a lot of money. So Lena replied to Antonio's tweet and said herself, I'm a married woman. However, he came back with, that didn't stop you last time, baby. I mean, come on. Why? Why, Antonio? So then Adam22 jumped in and said, what are you going to do with it? So he said some other stuff, you know, little, whatever. Antonio replied, it's a game of inches. You must not have checked my snap. And then he hashtagged it, put that ish on. Listen, I want to know, do you think no matter what the woman's profession is, if a woman is married, that it is inappropriate to come at her like that, kidding or not? You never can tell with Antonio because, you know, he's rambunctious. He's going to do the most. Listen, what he put his child's mother through on social media was a lot, but he seemed to think it was funny. So I want to know from you, Andy, do you think it's appropriate even though this is Lena's line of work?
You know, it gives me Sukiyana vibes a little bit, right? I don't know. It's kind of tough because even with the whole Jason Love fiasco, you never heard from Lena.
Right.
Throughout the whole situation. You know, Adam got a lot of flack. Jason Love not gonna get no flack, you know what I'm saying? But nobody's criticizing or even bigging up Lena. I'm curious to know how people feel about that. So I don't know. It's kind of tough to answer that question because
it's a complicated situation. Yeah. Someone said Jason Love was doing interviews like he was inside the actor's studio breaking down the scenes and things of that nature.
I saw some clips.
I just listen. I know that we are in an era where anything goes, and for the love of money, Like the OJ sang, people will do a lot for the love of money. The decision for them to do what they did, that is between them and their marriage. They've been together for 7 years, married for a few months, so I'm sure they understood it. And, you know, he's sitting back laughing, collecting the coins. But I don't understand, if she's given the people something that they want to see, why we got to shade her too? Why we got to do all that? I mean, I don't know. But Antonio's going to be Antonio. Check him out in the VIP. And if you don't know what he was talking about that Snapchat joke, yeah, just Google Antonio Brown and Snapchat leak, and all your questions will be answered there. Anyway, we still have a lot to talk about. We were discussing Kanye West and the lawsuit. So it is only right that we talk about Kim Kardashian, right? Because, of course, if one's in the news, the other might be. Shout out to Terry in the chat. He says he believes Antonio Brown is mentally ill. Kind of sounds that way. Tony Yayo, in answering to our Netflix streaming conversation, says he's too lazy to cut off Netflix. His credit card automatically gets charged every month. He uses it sparingly. Urban Spinster says, if their streaming is janky and a lot of buffering, I'm done. She gives the examples of Hulu, Paramount, Sling TV is the only live TV app that she utilizes, so she's stuck with that unless she wants to go back to cable. And Terry also says Kanye is the black version of Trump, so Adidas will never get their money back. Well, they're both Geminis. You might have a point there. Anyway, I was mentioning Kim. So, you know, Kim and Kanye recently divorced, and Kim, as soon as kind of the relationship was on its legal way out, right? Because we know that they were separated for quite some time before they were legally viewed as divorced. She was reflecting on her relationship with Pete Davidson on a recent episode of The Kardashians, which is now on Hulu, and she admits that it may not have been a good decision. She was having a conversation with her sisters, Kylie and Kendall Jenner, and she said she definitely jumped into the relationship too fast, and it got her mind away from stuff, so I guess she was using it as a distraction, but that she shouldn't run from things. And she shared with her younger siblings that it is better to deal and heal. That's a good one, she said. Deal and heal and then feel. So we all kind of felt that Kim maybe have been moving too fast, but I also felt like she was trying to get Kanye off her bumper, put a little bit of space in between them, maybe get on his nerves a little bit. But listen, they are a complicated situation. I'm just glad that Kanye has not gone back to Twitter, Instagram with his commentary. But shout out to Kim for having some accountability and recognizing that maybe she was moving not in the best interest of herself, given things that are considered. Because, of course, she's allowed to get into a new relationship and move on and move around. But that one, maybe it was too soon. And, you know, Pete was tattooing her name. Like, he got like 3 or 4 tattoos. That's kind of what he does. Goes and gets his mate's names tattooed on him, and then gets it covered up when they're over. I don't know. That's got to be a sign of something. I'm not sure what, but I believe it's a sign of something. Anyway, in telling you about events, I don't know if you've recognized, and we'll get more into this when we come forward, but golf is taking off in the black community. If you look around, so many people are becoming involved, hitting the links, hitting the green. We're going to talk about a Golf Foundation charity event that took place that has some attendees I think you'd be interested in. You are listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
The family of Keenan Anderson is suing the city of Los Angeles for $100 million. Maisha Cairo here with your K-Black Minute News, brought to you by CaliforniaBlackMedia.org. Keenan Anderson, a high school English teacher that was visiting Los Angeles from Washington, D.C., was tragically killed at the hands of the Los Angeles Police Department in January of this year. His family, alongside civil rights and personal injury attorney Benjamin Crump and Carl Douglas, have announced a $100 million lawsuit against the city of Los Angeles. Crump and Douglas are representing Keenan Anderson's son, Sincere Anderson, and his mother, Gabrielle Hansel. The family is suing for civil rights violations, assault and battery, false imprisonment, and negligence on the part of the LAPD officers. The family of Keenan Anderson and attorneys Crump and Douglas want it to be known that this is only part of a systemic issue within the fabric of police departments everywhere.
Ew, gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried new Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in one wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello.
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect. Support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminding you that we keep us safe. The Center for the Pacific Asian Family was founded to help address domestic violence and sexual assault in the Asian and the Pacific Islander communities. The Center for the Pacific Asian Family's mission is to build healthy and safe communities by addressing the root causes and consequences of family violence and violence against women. They are committed to meeting the specific cultural and language needs of the Asian and Pacific Islander women and their families. CPAF's vision is of an Asian and Pacific Islander community that embraces healthy relationships and works in partnership with other communities to eradicate all forms of violence. To access services, volunteer, or for more info, visit nurturingchange.org. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe everyone deserves to be safe. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
Hey, it's Jill Munroe. You are checking out RSVP with Jill Munroe. So this is the point where I quickly remind you that Thursday is actually my Friday. So tomorrow night when you check in for RSVP with Jill Munroe, you will be experiencing the best of. Please don't let that stop you from checking in, and share it with a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend. Now that we've gotten that out the way, let me share with you details regarding a golf charity event that took place today in Miami. If you haven't been paying attention, if you've been looking around, golf is the latest sport, along with pickleball, but golf is the latest sport that is taking an interest as far as the hip-hop community is gone. If you look around, a lot of your favorite hip-hop artists are taking to the golf links to get a game or two in. Really, maybe hit it around, maybe just top golf, but they're really taking an interest. If you look at fashion, there's lots of fashion lines that are incorporating the sort of preppy golf look right now. So you're ahead of the game. Get your weight up. If you have an interest in golf, get out there, hit the links, get some lessons in. But a charity event took place, so we had a lot of hip hop, a lot of rappers on the links in Miami. DJ Khaled has his We the Best Foundation. So they had a charity golf tournament today in Miami. It was sponsored by Jordan, Black Girl Sunscreen, Trail Burger, shout out to them. We were just talking about them earlier, and a bunch of other brands. So it took place in Miami, and some of the people that were there, it's like a huge list of who's who. Serena Williams was in the building. Of course, Khaled was there. Diddy, Ja Rule, Bubba Watson. He's a race car driver for NASCAR. Michael Rubin, because Michael Rubin is everywhere. If you don't know him, get to know him. He is the CEO, I believe, of Fanatics. He's the one that had the white party in the Hamptons. He also was responsible for the Vegas NBA Players Association party that had Lil Baby perform. You know, all types of things. They had Lucid Motors as a sponsor. They're an electric car brand that is kind of in competition with Tesla for the next up-and-coming thing. Charles Oakley was in the building, so you had your OG Knicks, Cedric the Entertainer. We're talking Fat Joe. Everybody that you can think of descended on Miami to hit up Khaled's golf tournament. So what I want to know from you is, because we always hear, well, we have always historically heard that golf is a game for white people. I mean, if you think about it, other than Tiger Woods, can you name another black golfer?
I can.
Let's go.
Steph Curry.
Fair, and very accurate. I saw that hole-in-one that he hit the other day in that turn. Crazy. Like, that is just...
Come on now.
Amazing.
For real.
And to your point, Steph Curry is a golfer now. That is fair, and I take it. And you know what's interesting in thinking about that? I think that they should kind of ride that a little bit. I don't know if they thought about it as far as Under Armour, but I think that that would be a great thing to open up and use him to do so. He's an unconventional athlete.
Man, Steph Curry. First off, I just want to say this. Shout out to my boy Fred Major, man. He kind of put me up on golf, you know what I'm saying? We do a little betting or whatnot.
Okay.
And I remember last year, after basketball season was done, you know, during the summertime, it's kind of...
exactly.
So, you know what I'm saying? He was just like, yo, man, you got to get into this golf. And I'm like, man, whatever, right? So he broke it down to me, and quite frankly, like, I became a fan. I bought the new the 2K with Tiger Woods on it, and I could tell you, I know some golfers, right? Coupled with that, you know, the NBA has always been synonymous with golf, right? Especially Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, or whatnot.
For sure.
But to see Steph Curry right now too. This past weekend, I was literally glued to the TV screen watching him play, and I'm watching greatness right now. You know what I mean? I say all that to say, I used to work for another a nonprofit organization, black organization. They'll be nameless or whatnot.
Okay.
But you know, we worked on, you know, at-risk youth or whatnot. But I remember taking the kids to a golf tournament. And one of the messages that the executive director put out there is that, look, there's a lot of money to be made in golf.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of scholarships available in golf.
Absolutely.
I mean, one tournament, they over here playing for like $10 million if you win first place. So I think with black people, and it's dope that this hip hop people, you know what I'm saying, have this golf tournament, because to me, it's all about exposure. Let's tap into this golf thing. I'm telling you, you could be 40 years old still getting into the game. This ain't no young man's game.
That's what I was 100%. I think you were right. I think bringing up the scholarship aspect is big. You look at J.R. Smith and what he did, second career, golfing on a golf athletic scholarship, making noise, and on the honor roll. So shout out to Earl Smith III. You know, we always appreciate that. But I think that the head of the PGA would like to see more black golfers involved. This was a sentiment that was relayed about 2 years ago, because obviously we didn't know what was going to happen with Tiger at this point in his career. We know that he has some health issues that are preventing him from being the Tiger that once got all of our attention, because, you know, the only reason why I cared about golf was because of him. I knew who Jack Nicklaus was just because I knew his name, and there's probably a couple of other golfers whose names you just heard in passing, or maybe in the pop culture lexicon as jokes or something like that. But again, Tiger is what got the focus, and I think that it would be incredibly amazing if that was something that we saw taken up, especially for, like you said, a player like Steph Curry, who's obviously gifted at it, has an athletic thing, and it's something else. It's something outside of it that it's achievable for people who are not athletically inclined.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I'm saying? And to your point, it is a sport that can take you into your senior years. They have senior golf tournaments, so you could potentially play for a long, long time. Like you said, you could pick up the clubs at 40 and be a champion at 50 if you try really, really hard and get into your manifestation and positive thinking.
And you know what? I think it's happening little by little, because last year they had a tournament where it was Pat Mahomes,
yes,
and Travis Kelce, Aaron Rodgers,
right? Because Steph was in that too. He played. Klay Thompson was his teammate.
There
Klay stunk it up, but it's okay. It's okay.
So I think the PGA, what they probably need to do is just collaborate with the NFL, with the NBA, maybe a little bit more. Even maybe like during All-Star Weekend for the NBA, maybe have.
That's a great idea, depending upon where they have it. And you know what is even better about that when you think about it, because it's an easy pathway, like you said. It's easy to set up way to get kids involved. And also, it's something that they can do post-career, because we know that their main sports career has a limited number of years to it because of the physicality. And not that there isn't a physical aspect to golf. There is. It's actually, a lot of players use it in their later years as exercise. It's the way that they keep in shape, because what I've discovered is athletes, once they retire, professional athletes, they don't necessarily know how to work out. They just know how to train, but they don't know how to work out.
I think half of that is just I'm tired of working out. So,
that too.
I'm going to eat everything that I wasn't eating when I was an athlete.
And I'm going to chill. That discipline is out the window. But I would love to see more involvement in golf. Here in Los Angeles, I know I went to Dorsey High for a minute, and we would have dances at the Chester Washington golf course down the way and stuff like that. We had a golf team at Dorsey. So, shout out to that. I think that it is also a good alternative because, one, a lot of business deals are made on the golf course. It will serve you well as you advance in your career, no matter what that career is. Everybody has to network. And two, because it is something that is obtainable for a regular body type, both men and women, I think that it is something that is, now granted, clubs are expensive, equipment is expensive, memberships are expensive, but we're not worried about that. We're just trying to talk about the fun and the fundamentals of it, and that is a movement I think that we can get behind. So I hope to see more athletes cheering on the links, like Andy said, it's summertime. They do everything else. Why not start a little junior golf league and get that pipeline going? We have junior NBA. I don't know if that's still a thing or if it's still called that or if AAU made that obsolete, but it's not a bad idea. So get into it. I would like golf lessons. I'm going to start at Top Golf, though. I was an excellent miniature golfer, so I feel like I can be okay. I feel like I'm a quick study. I learn. I got hand-eye coordination. I'll be good. I'll let you know when I hit the links how that goes. We'll have to see. I have confidence in myself. Listen, thank you for rocking with me this week. Today is my 1-month anniversary that I've been here on KBLA Talk 1580. It has been amazing so far. I love the response and the reaction. I hope you are enjoying the show. You seem to be. Your comments say so. So keep those comments coming. Make sure that you are following us on all of our socials. Download the app. And remember, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend so we can all meet in the VIP and chat. I will check you out on Monday when we come forward. The next sound you hear will be the best of KBLA. I'm Jill Munroe. Have an amazing night.
I'm not supposed to brag, nobody fault, I tell the truth, I know it's facts. We ultra black, gray stone, skin tone, but multi that. Multiple colors, we coming all shades, mocha black. Except where I'm at and not fight me on it. Emotional stares like I might be wanted. Pitch black like the night, I'm ultra black. Sanford and Son reruns, jokes are black. Oh yes, God bless success. We going ultra black, like the S is fast. Talk with a mask on, the freshest breath. African black soap, caress the flesh. Super fly the Mac, sitting fly in the lack. Take the boat on the water, history talks with my daughter.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. In Hoover, Alabama, cops reveal new details about